Hey everybody, welcome back to Jeff Bowles Central. You know, just about 2 weeks ago now, the world lost a pretty incredible talent, incredible person, at least as far as what he created, what he gave the world. That's Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys. We actually lost a couple of pretty big 60s icons that week. We also lost Sly Stone of Sly and the Family Stone. I've always been a big fan of Sly Stone's music, but I mean, I've always been a tremendous fan of Brian Wilson's music. The Beach Boys isn't for everybody. I don't say that it is. Just like the Beatles isn't for everybody. Just like Metallica. Metallica's not for everybody. Just like Lady Gaga's not for everybody. Just like Taylor Swift's not for everybody. Not everything's for everybody. But of that era, you're not going to find many brighter stars as far as songwriting goes. Certainly as far as what they eventually were capable of doing in the studio with their recorded music. I'm a writer of music. I'm a writer of song. I make music. me make chunky chunk on guitar in my small way. And, and I can tell you just from studying Brian all these years, his compositions are crazy good, dude. When they were good. They weren't always good. And that's kind of what I want to talk about partially here today, which is not so much his work, which stands the test of time, is a testament unto him. It's a testament, a testament of his talent. I want to talk about his madness, because this is a mental health video. Surprise! I want to talk about his schizoaffective disorder. I didn't know that that's exactly what his diagnosis was, but I always suspected, especially I recently saw a movie called Love and Mercy, starring John Cusack and Paul Dano, playing different eras of Brian's life, the two of them. And he was hearing voices, and he was hallucinating, and he was acting crazy, during those years that he was making some of the most influential Beach Boys music. Pet Sounds, which is one of my favorite albums of all time, he was starting to lose it at that time, and he was diagnosed with schizophrenia, schizoaffective disorder, later in life. And I'd heard all the stories. I'd heard all the stories about the hearing the voices, and I'd heard the stories about laying in bed for 3 years, which is something he also did famously, because he shut down. Because the pressure of the Beach Boys, that's my cat. If you don't know my cat, she makes lots of noise and puts them in my videos for me. The pressure of the Beach Boys got to him, the pressure of the fame, the pressure of having to produce, and the pressure of the schizo really, really got to him, man. And I can relate because I've got the same diagnosis, and a lot of people who watch my mental health videos have the same diagnosis or a similar one, schizophrenia of some sort. Schizoaffective disorder it comes in two varieties, bipolar type and depressive type. And the bipolar type sounds like what it is. It's schizophrenia plus bipolar disorder. The depressive type is schizophrenia plus major depression, okay? And they're both debilitating. They also, for some reason, lend themselves to creativity. A lot of people who have mental illness, but specifically schizotypal mental illness, for some reason we're really good at creative stuff. We're really good at art and music and writing, to a point. And so if you hear barking now, that's not my doggy adding soundtrack to this awesome Beach Boys mental health video. Especially to the point that the illness really, really kicks in. You try making art famously so, like Brian had to do, on a huge scale, selling to millions of people when you're hearing voices. Can you imagine what that must be like? And I think that a lot of music fans and critics and stuff have analyzed Brian's life, and they've tried to come away with a message, a takeaway. What's the takeaway of Brian Wilson's life, especially now that he's passed? He's gone from this world. His story has been told. A lot of people think that it's madness and art go together sometimes, and that's definitely a takeaway. I actually think that the takeaway of Brian's life is that you can get better. It's a message of hope, Brian Wilson's life. It's a message of artistry. It's a message of being just a badass musician and making all this great music. That's also a message of Brian's life. But the real message for me, as someone who suffers, I suffer from what he suffered from. I have had, in fact, I'm in a phase right now where I'm in bed for 3 years, okay, in my own way. I get a lot of his suffering. I'm also musical, okay? But what I really latch onto with Brian Wilson, what I really take away from Brian, is that he actually did improve. He got better. Now, here's the thing with that, because that also has a heavy caveat. When Brian was losing control of everything, and he was in bed, and he ballooned up to 300 pounds, they say, and he wasn't making music, he wasn't with the Beach Boys, he wasn't doing anything good with his life. In fact, he was kind of just self-medicating and dying slowly. A group of people, including this psychologist guy, bailed him out. They started putting a watch on him 24 hours. They got him on medication. They slowly got him to lose weight, to improve, to get better. But it turns out that those people were kind of, according to the Wilson family, according to the litigation that ensued. And again, this is all in that movie as well I was telling you about, Love and Mercy. It's a really good movie. You should check it out. They turned out to be slightly predatory in the end, but see, the thing with that is that Brian was friends with this guy the rest of his life and even put him in his will. I think that's also a testament to Brian Wilson's heart. I don't think Brian Wilson was the kind of guy who wouldn't be forgiving of anybody. He was a good guy, I think. He had his issues. He had trouble with parenting. He had trouble with being a husband. He was had trouble with being a bandmate. The problem with being schizophrenic is that you do have issues with people. I have issues with people all the time. Not meaning to, not wanting to. I'd love nothing more than for people to understand me and I understand them and to behave how I want to behave 24/7, but that's not really how this works. And that's not really how it worked for Brian, but he did get better. He remarried. He adopted children. He had a nice family life. He got back to making music. Was he who he was before developing the schizo? He was in his early 20s when that happened. No, he was never complete in that sense. But there was improvement. There was massive improvement. So many of us develop this disorder, and so many of the people who around us who watch us degrade, think that there's no bright side, there's no end at the tunnel, that you're never going to get better, and you can. But I think the point is that you need help. I don't know that you get all that much better just by yourself. Now again, his help turned out to be slightly predatory. But see, even to his dying day, he said that this guy helped save his life. Yeah. Hopefully for you and for me and for everybody else who suffers from this, we can get some people around us who are good people 100% through and through, aren't predatory, nobody's perfect, and it's hard to deal with this illness, this disorder. It's hard to be on the other side of it. It's hard to be in the middle of it, trust me. But if we get together here, and if we can unite over the health of one of us and make that one of us better, we can all do it. And I know that Brian was wealthy and he had resources that you and I most likely don't have. I know I don't. But he got better, guys, and you can get better and you can improve. And hey, he got back to making his beautiful art. He got back to doing what he loved. He loved music. He loved it like I love it. He was passionate about his music. You know, and we might not have lost Brian a couple weeks ago. We might have lost Brian in the 70s. And we never would have heard another beautiful song from him. So that's the message of Brian Wilson's life, everybody. His schizoaffective disorder, it wasn't the end of him. In many ways, it was only a beginning. Okay? Don't lose hope. Because that's an awful thing. And this is a hopeless world right now. Gosh. Be good to yourself. Be good to others. As well as you can be. You're not perfect either. Okay? So, listen to some Beach Boys tonight. Listen to Pet Sounds. If you've never heard it, oh my God, it's a beautiful record. God only knows what I'd be without you. Sorry, I couldn't remember the lyric. God only knows what I'd be with. It's such a beautiful song, right? So, listen to some Beach Boys. Thank Brian Wilson for the tunes. I'll catch you next time on another mental health video here on Jeff Bull Central. Bye-bye, everybody.